Hello and welcome to our Tuesday night Team Hustle and Heart Zoom. My name is Hope Weston. I'm a triple diamond. I've been building my business online for almost 7 years, which is just crazy. If you are part of my downline, just thank you for taking the time to hop on. If you're not part of my downline, you're still welcome to be here. I just want to specifically pour into my people who are taking the time to learn from me. I have a lot of knowledge and experience packed into this, up here, and I love to share it with you guys. So first and foremost, I want to really share that I am talking about all of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, yes, from a place of experience, and yes, from a place of knowledge and a place of seeing success unfold in this business firsthand. But I'm also not immune to the feelings of oh my God, this is not happening. You guys ever feel like that in your business? You're like, I am doing the things that I feel like I should be doing and it is not happening for me. Or what am I doing wrong? You feel like you're doing all of the things, right, that you should be doing, but you're not getting the results that you want. Or maybe even we have balloons for his upcoming birthday blown up. So there's balloons throwing in the background. Or even I want what they have and I feel like I'm doing what they're doing, but why are they getting it and I'm not? And comparison is such a dangerous freaking trap in this business. I have compared myself to people, above me, to the side of me, other people in the company. I have done it so many times in this business. And so I want you guys to know, genuinely, that I am coming from a place of I feel these things too. I don't know anybody in a, in a place of success that doesn't also battle with these things. And so I actually had a call with my coach. I have a coach. Everyone should have a coach, whether it's me, you're on my team, or you joined with someone else on my team, or, you're under somebody else in this business. Everybody should have a coach, a mentor that they can lean on and go to. And so I went to my coach today and I said, gosh, I'm just really feeling I don't know, I'm just really feeling I don't know, what else I can do. I don't know what else I can I don't know what else I need to be doing to move the needle forward. And I've been in a little bit of a plateau, the last few months where I'm getting some results, but not as much results as I would like. And she just really reminded me that it's all, how do I want to say this? You can't recreate the wheel when it comes to success. You can't recreate the wheel when it comes to, Casper, please do not push the buttons on your lightsaber right now. Almost three on Saturday. And she just really reminded me that it really is about, it's a recipe. The recipe of success is a recipe, and you can't, how do I explain this analogy a little bit better? So let's say, I make a cake, right? I make a chocolate cake and I post about this cake and you're like, oh my gosh, Hope, that looks like the most amazing chocolate cake. I want that. So imagine that the chocolate cake is a successful business, right? And so I give you the recipe. I'm like, this is my chocolate cake recipe. This is exactly what I do to get the cake that you want. And it gives you all of the ingredients and what to set the timer for and what temperature to cook it at, all of these things, right? And I give it to you and then you're like, I don't really want to put the eggs in. Everything else looks really great about this, but I don't really want to put eggs in it. And so you make the whole recipe without eggs, maybe I had 2 or 3 eggs in there, and then the cake comes out and it's not the same. And you're like, oh, why is my cake not the same as Hope's? I thought I'm using her recipe. I just didn't want to use the eggs. And I might even have a fancy blender. I might even have, a deluxe oven or some fancy cake pans. But if you follow the exact same recipe that I do and put in the same ingredients and cook it for the same amount of time at the same temperature, you're going to get the same cake that I made. So to bring this analogy back around to what I mean for this business, when I tell you what I do every day to get the results that I get in my business, which I'm always trying to grow and get better and expand and stuff too. So I'm not saying that my daily list is perfect by any means, but when you look at Jade Hooper and you want what she has, you look at Courtney Van Auken and you want what she has, you look at me and you want what I have, you have to ask yourself, am I using the same recipe? Am I putting in the same ingredients for the same amount of time at the same, temperature, which we'll call that like belief, right? So am I doing the same tasks? Have I been doing it as long as they have been doing it? And am I doing it with as much belief as they are doing it? And if the answer to those questions is no, then you can't expect to have the same results. And so that was really what me and my coach were talking about today. And so I wanted to give you guys just some insight and some ways that you can really sit down and, number one, just get really real with yourself about what you want. And what I mean by what you want is, obviously we all joined this business to make money, right? Like, you wouldn't be watching this if you weren't trying to make money, make income. But there are people who are at a place in their business where an extra $500 a month is like huge to them. And then there's people who have been doing this for a little bit longer where it's like, maybe that goal is more like $5,000 is like huge to you. And so first, I want us to get really real about what we want. Because if you're not being real about what you want, the likelihood of you being willing to do what it takes to get to, like, quote unquote, what you want is very low. And I feel like that is where a lot of the disconnect comes in for new people, or even people who have been in the business for a really long time, but maybe you're not happy with the results that you've had in your business so far, is that you are sort of not matching your want with your willingness with your consistency. Like, either you're not being real about what you really want, or you're not being, because if you're not real about what you want, then you're not going to be willing to do what it takes to get what you want. And then, if you're not real about what you want and you're not being willing, you're not going to get good results, which is going to make it really hard for you to stay consistent in your business. So I know that might, like, I don't know if this is all making sense to you guys, but to me, it was just like, you have to first decide what it is that you want in this business. So let's just like take it all the way back to, like, you want to make an extra $300 a month. Okay. You want to make an extra $300 a month. You're brand new, or maybe your business has been really, really slow lately. Maybe you took like a giant step back. And so you're like, God, I would just love to make like $300 a month. So we know on our team that $300 a month is doing your U+2 every single month. So your U+2 is you doing your 4-in-1, which is enrolling your 4 customers and your 1 distributor. It's doing that twice a month. And with our company's current bonus system, every time you enroll 4 customers and 1 distributor, you're going to get a $150 bonus. So this is actually to make a little bit more than $300 a month, because obviously you're also going to make commission from the customers that you're enrolling. But this is just to keep it really basic for you. So if you know, okay, in order for me to make $300 a month, I need to make sure that I'm bringing in at least 8 customers. Okay, it actually needs to be 240 volume. So for this, 4 customers, 240 volume, 4 customers, 240 volume, and then 2 new distributors. And for some of you, you're like, okay, sounds good, I got this. And for some of you, you're like, that makes me want to poop my pants. Like, I have not even enrolled 1 person. Bear with me, okay? So if you want to make $300 a month, that's the table of what you need. You need about 8 to 10 customers, 2 new distributors in a month. The first thing is to make sure that you set a good timeline for yourself. So yes, your goal might be $300 in a month, but if you're just getting started and you do your 4-in-1 one time by the end of this month, which is about 2 more weeks, that is awesome. And you're going to make $150 and you're going to be setting yourself up to get residual commission starting next month. And you have to be willing to have paychecks that are a little bit smaller than exactly what you're looking for at the very beginning. My first paycheck was $36. Okay. And there's like absolutely every reason under the sun that I should have looked at $36 and been like, $36 for the amount of effort that I'm putting in? Absolutely not. No, thank you. And I see people do it all the time. I had a new girl come in and make $270 something her first month, and she was like, I just don't think it's really worth it. And I was like, okay, and that's like way more than I made my first month. Like I totally, but so that's the first piece, is that you have to be willing to know what you want, and then also know that you might have to work up to it. And then, so the first thing that you need is to get real about what you want. Don't say you want to, don't come out the gate just saying you want to make $5,000 a month if that's not really what you want to do. There are so many people who join this business for an extra $200 to $500 a month, and that's totally fine. Don't feel like you need to get on this Zoom with a VIP or like whatever and be like, I do want to make a full-time income. Maybe you're not there yet, and that's okay. Or maybe you're like, I know, I can see Ashley, I know that her goal forever has been like $5,000 a month. Like she's like, that is how much I want to make like with my business. Like, I know that is what I need. So maybe that is it for you. So the second thing you need to do is to make those goals that are realistic but challenging. And what I mean by that is things like your U+2. If doing your U+2 just seems like insanely difficult, then your goal needs to be your 4-in-1, right? And then once you do your 4-in-1, then your goal is to do another 4-in-1. So do what is just at the cusp of challenging you. That's what you should always be doing in your business, is like getting yourself to the place where you're challenging yourself to do a little bit more and go a little bit farther, but not far enough to where it's what you're not willing to do. So you know what you want, you know what your goal is. Now it's time to get a plan. And 99% of the people on our team build using social media. So I'm going to be talking very specifically about social media. If you're somebody who loves to build your business belly to belly, you love to, give out samples, give out cards, do booths, I think that's incredible. I'm not the expert on that. So I'm specifically going to be talking about creating a plan using social media. So based on what you want, based on what your goal is for, let's just say the next 2 weeks. If you haven't done a 4-in-1 yet, your goal is going to be to do your 4-in-1 or more. So based on meeting at least 4 to 5 customers and 1 new distributor, you need to figure out how much content first. This is the first thing. How much content do I need to be putting out on a daily basis? So for me, and I'm somebody who usually does my U+2. I usually don't just do my 4-in-1. I do it usually about 2 or 3 times. I personally am making sure that every single day I'm making a personal post. I'm making a simple post. I'm posting in my stories. I'm showing my face in my stories, as well as sharing about the products and the business in my stories. I also make and post at least 3 to 5 TikToks a day. Usually 1 to 2 of those are about the products or the business, if not more. And then I'm taking those TikToks that I'm making and I'm reposting them to my reels on Instagram and Facebook. So that's my plan for what I'm going to put out on social media every single day. And that's my typical content, put out on a daily basis to do my 4-in-1 usually 2 to 3 times. So if you are somebody who you're just starting out and you want to do your 4-in-1 by the end of the month, I would make sure you've got at least 1 personal post, at least a few slides in your story, and at least 1 piece of video content. Like I would make yourself bare minimum do those 3 things for like every day. And obviously if you want to get more, you have to put out more. Okay. So the second thing after content is your reach outs. And I know there are a lot of people and a lot of like newer people who are like, oh, like messaging. I really don't like to just call it messaging, because when you call it just messaging, it detracts from what you're trying to do. And what you're trying to do when you're sending messages to people is you're just reaching out. You're just saying, hey, how's it going? I'm Hope. This is what I'm offering. Would you like more information? We've got a giveaway. We've got products, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And so for me, I try to do at least 50 reach outs every single day. My goal recently has actually been 100, just because I have some really big goals before my, there's Tyler. I have some really big goals before my baby girl gets here. I'm 33 weeks pregnant. And so I'm at this point where I'm like, dang, like I need to like bust a move. Like I want to send like at least 100 a day, because the more reach outs I do, the more results I'm going to get back. So again, I send about 50 a day. I do my 4-in-1 2 to 3 times a month. If you're somebody who's just trying to do your first 4-in-1, I would probably send at least 25. I'd probably send at least 25 a day, if not more. So that's your reach outs. The third one is follow-ups. Now, obviously follow-ups are going to come from putting out content and sending reach outs. So if you're not putting out content and you're not sending out reach outs, you're not going to have follow-ups to do. But if you're doing those two things, you should be following up. I've been following up every single day. And I know that sounds like daunting to some people, but I'm not talking about like following up with like 200 people. I just, every single day, I'm going back in my Facebook Messenger and I'm scrolling through and I'm checking back and following up with everybody from the last like 5 to 7 days. And then at the end of my week, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going back to like the beginning of the month, the end of last month, the end of May, like going farther back. And that is what I do. I know some people who have like the most meticulous follow-up systems, and they are even better than I am. The better your follow-up system is, the better results you're going to get, period. Once again, there are people who do this, who enroll way more than I do, who have earned more success bonuses than I have, who have like done a lot more like recently than I do. And they all have like bomb follow-up systems. Some use their planners. I've heard of the 222 system, which is you write everybody down on the day that you talk to them, and then you're following up 2 days later, and then 2 weeks later, and then 2 months later. And then as you're filling up your planner every single day, you have more and more people to follow up with. That's a good idea. But you need to figure out what your system is going to be for your follow-ups. And then the fourth thing is growth. And by growth, I mean both your social media audiences, and I also mean your mindset. I also mean your knowledge, and I also mean your belief. And so you should be growing your Facebook and growing your Instagram and growing your TikTok every single day. That's going to happen from putting out content. That's going to happen from getting up post to post. That's going to happen from adding new friends and followers, especially if you're brand new, making sure that you're taking the time to send out friend requests, to send out, follows to people, to make sure that you're creating content on TikTok that's going to draw in new people and have them follow you, all that kind of stuff. And then, so that's why my goal every single day is at least 5 post to post. I really do push for 10 post to post a day, but 5 a day, I feel like is this really sweet spot where it is a challenge someday for me to get up 5 post to posts. And it pushes me to make sure that I am sending those reach out messages, making content, making posts about it on my Facebook, all of that kind of stuff. And then your mindset growth. So this is listening to podcasts, not allowing yourself to be swept up in negativity. If you start feeling really negative, if you start feeling really doubtful, really discouraged, reaching out, getting on a Zoom, turning on a podcast, turning on an audiobook, doing some journaling. There's so many things that we can do to get and keep ourselves into a good mindset today, this morning, I was like really feeling it this morning. I was like, God, like, I just don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, how many of you feel that way? I got on the phone with my coach. We talked for an hour and a half. We talked about all the different things, and it made me feel so much better just to know, like, this is normal. I'm seen, I'm heard. And she reminded me of a lot of the stuff that I'm, reminding you guys of tonight. So all of this circles back. So content, reach out, follow-ups, and growth. Okay, you should have a plan for doing all of those things. But at the end of the day, it's about what you are willing to do. If you're like, that all sounds great, Hope, but I'm not willing to make video content. And I know there are people on here who are like, sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. And then I know there are people on here who, like, it is the absolute last thing that they will do for their business. It is the absolute last thing they'll do for their business. They're like, I will not make a video. I will not do it. So for you guys, like, you really need to look at, like, do you want to make an extra $200 to $300 to $500 a month from your phone, from social media? And if that's the case, really, and you really, really want to, then you need to be willing to do what other successful people are doing. And I just told you, I put out 3 to 5 videos on TikTok, and I'm uploading at least 1 or 2 of those a day on Facebook and Instagram. And you can't, Ashley, you're so funny. She goes, you're yelling at me. Yeah, a little bit, because there are so many of you who are like, I want to be successful in my business. I want to be, yes, Heather, this is being recorded. Absolutely. There are so many of you who say you want a certain level of success, like especially my people who are watching this, who want to make a full-time income or more. Every single person who is in this business right now, who's making a full-time income or more, is doing video content. Period. I don't know a single person in this company who's making, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month who's not putting out video content every single day. If you only want to make $200 a month, you could probably get away with not doing video content. Probably you would have to make sure that you are absolutely doing all of the other things. You would maybe even have to send like more messages and do more host to post, because to be honest, that's what I had to do back in the day before we had video content that you could even make. I had to just do more of the other things. So, and your confidence comes after. I made a little note on my notes to speak about this. The confidence comes after. Okay, if you're like, God, I just really do not feel confident making videos. I just really do not feel confident sending out messages. You get confident by doing it. You get confident by doing it. I don't know any other way to build confidence. You can read 1,000,000 books. You can watch 1,000 trainings. You can plan it out in your planner, right? You can like talk with me about it. You can say that tomorrow you're gonna, and until you actually sit down and just take the action, okay, not just movement, not just, oh, I'm gonna watch videos about how to make TikToks. Oh, I'm just gonna get on Zoom and have Hope yell at me about making TikToks. Like, you have to actually do it, and then your confidence is gonna start to grow, okay? So, and you have to be willing to do it. And if you're not willing to do it, be real. Be real about that. Don't feel like you have to do this weird, like, oh God, okay, well, I guess I'll be willing. If you are not willing to send out, 50 messages a day, like, that's okay. There's no judgment there. You're just going to have to adjust what you want out of your business. Either your want or your willingness will have to be adjusted, right? And then as your willingness, like maybe you do get a little more comfortable with video content. You do get a little more comfortable with messaging. Now your want can go up. Now you can be like, all right, I am willing to do a little bit more. Because I want a little bit more. I want more than $200 a month. I want more than $500 a month. And there's no shame in any of that. There's no judgment in any of that. Like, everybody comes into this business in different places. And to be quite honest with you, if you would have told me my first week in the business, you need to make, 3 to 5 pieces of video content, I would have been like, no way, Jose, like not happening. I have 2 jobs. I have classes. I'm planning my wedding. I barely even have time to sleep. Like I barely have time to eat. Like I'm not making videos. So if you're in that place, like don't feel like you're like, God, like now I'm doomed because I won't make video content. No, you just have to adjust your willingness, because at the very beginning of my business, I only wanted an extra $200 a month. And then once I hit that, then it was like, okay, well now I want 500. Okay, well, you know, now I want 1,000. And then by the time you caught me, you know, a year later, I started my business in September of 2015. By the time you caught me in September of 2016, you could have told me to dress like a hot dog and go to the mall and hand out flyers. And I would have been like, all right, let's do it. I'm gonna go diamond. Like I want to make a $10,000 bonus. Let's get it done. So I want you guys to understand that your business is your want and your willingness have to line up. Okay, so once you know what you want and you have a plan that aligns with what you're willing to do to get to what you want, then you just have to get consistent. Okay, 3 days is not what I'm talking about. And I have seen time and time and time again, too many 3 days. Too many 3 days. Too many people who come into their business for 3 days, maybe 4, and they're like, woo, and they're sending messages. Maybe they're even enrolling people. Maybe they're like putting out all the content. And then day 5, it's like, whoop, where'd they go? Where'd they go? They're gone. Like I could text them, I could call them, they would not answer, you know? And that's okay. Again, no judgment. I understand life things happen, but you're not gonna get results from that. You're just not, okay? And it comes back to this vision of like, if you know, so Ashley's like, I want to make $5,000 a month. You know, I want to be able to do, you know, not that I'm the end all be all, but like I want to be able to do what Hope does, okay? But then you're only baking your cake for like 5 minutes when I specifically told you to do about 350 for 45. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then you're like 5 minutes, it's good, comes out, it's like battery, it's like naughty, it's like barely even warm, and you're like, I did the exact same thing that Hope did. Why isn't my cake like Hope's? And it's like, well, dude, you had it in the oven for 5 minutes and then you decided it was taking too long. Like, you know, you guys get what I'm saying? So I really want you guys to get into this mindset of like, 3 days is not going to give you good results. 3 weeks might get you some results. It might. You'll probably enroll if you are very consistent with your plan of action for 3-4 weeks. You'll probably get a few customers, you know, maybe a distributor. I didn't enroll a distributor in my first 30 days, by the way. I barely enrolled one in my first 60 days. But yeah, and I'm not talking about 3 weeks of like on for 3 days, off for 3 days, on for 3 days, off for 3 days. I'm talking about 3 weeks of like every single day with the content, every single day with the reach outs, every single day with the follow-ups, right? And then 3 to 6 months is the big results, you guys. And I'm not trying to freak anyone out on this Zoom, but does anybody know what 6 months from now is? It's the holidays have already come and gone. Okay. The holidays have literally already come and gone 6 months from now. So if you want this Christmas to be different for your family, I have a zombie. There's a zombie attack. Okay. Are you all done? All right, Mom's gotta finish her Zoom. You got to say hi. Thank you. Thank you, zombie. Oh, you have your underpants on. You're good. You're good. You're good. We've been in potty training. He's been naked a lot. I'm like, he's good. Anyway, so 3 to 6 months is where the big results start to come in. Okay. So if you want this Christmas to look different, if you want the 2023 to look different, and you want to start generating income. I just told y'all my first paycheck was $36. My first paycheck was $36, and I was consistent. I was excited. I was posting every day. I was posting terrible posts and sending awful messages and bugging the crap out of my friends and family and coworkers. Okay, I was so annoying, and I still only made $36. But then the next month I made like 80, I think, and then the month after that I made like 190, and then from there on I started making that like 200 to 300 a month. And then by the time I had been in for 7 months, I promoted to Emerald, and that's when I really started to catch the vision for everything. But it took me I started in September, I promoted to Emerald at the end of March of 2016. So so I really want you guys to get into this mindset of like, where do I want to be 3 to 6 months from now? You should be thinking about your goal, making $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. If you're already making that goal, make a bigger goal and have that be your goal for 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now. But that's how you get the best results. And I will tell you guys, we're doing this this 75 hard right now. And I say this with absolutely nothing but the most like love and compassion in my heart, because I know that I'm about to be in a season where like I've got a newborn and a toddler, and we're adjusting to be a family of 4. And like, I'm not going to promise you I'm going to show up every day for 75 days during that time. But as of right now, we started the 75 hard back in June. And I'm the only person in that chat who has consistently done 30 days. As of right now, there are a lot of people who had to restart, had things happen. Again, there's no judgment, there's no shame, things happen. I'm so proud of every single person in there who's taken the time to like pause, reset, and then restart at day 1. We have a lot of people who are on day 10, 11, 12. We have a lot of people who are on day like 5. I think it's great. The point of the chat was not to like, you have to do this in 75 days. But the feeling that I get from knowing that every day for the past month, for the past 30 days, I have shown up and done the things that I know that I need to do in my business, it makes me feel so good. And it makes me feel like I'm laying such a good foundation for my business, because she's, I think I'm due in 49 days and I have 45 days left of this challenge. So she may even come before I get to the end of it, to be honest with you. But knowing that I'm laying the foundation of consistency in my business before I am in this time period of my business where things are going to be exhausting and different and a huge transition for my family, it feels really good. And so sometimes we can't see those things coming. Sometimes things just smack us and it's like, all of a sudden we're moving. All of a sudden somebody gets sick. All of a sudden right? All of a sudden the car breaks down, which is why it's so important that no matter how busy you feel like you are, if it is a quote unquote normal day, no matter how busy that is, if it is a quote unquote normal day in your life, you need to be consistent in your business. As Linda said, I'm pushing so hard to help pay for our move. I know Kylie's moving soon. Tiani's having babies, just like me, in like, I don't even know how many weeks, 7 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. We all have life stuff that comes down the pipe. And that's why it's so important to do what you can, when you can, every day, kind of leading up to those times, because sometimes you see them coming and sometimes you don't. 10-week countdown. Holy moly, Tiani. And Tiani's having 2 of them. I don't. Whew, girlfriend, you are in my thoughts and prayers daily, my dear friend. So I hear you, silly. So I think that's about all I wanted to share. Does anybody have any questions or any aha moments from any of that they would need to ask or would like to share before I? Baking a cake. Yep. It sounds a little silly and sometimes people get a little like, what? But I feel like it makes sense. So like your daily tasks are the ingredients. How long it's supposed to bake is how long you need to be consistent for. Excuse me, sir. how long it needs to bake is how long you need to be consistent for. And then the temperature that you bake it at is your belief and your mindset and your, how you are thinking about your business and how you're thinking about yourself. Yes, missing 2 or 3, it's okay to miss one day, but 2 or 3 sets you up for failure. Exactly. Miss a day, miss a task on a day, you know, but like the next day, don't let that be the same task that you missed, right? There's that other saying about like, you can drop the ball, just don't drop the same ball 2 days in a row. It's kind of like that in your business. Like if you really are like, I did not follow up yesterday, make sure you follow up tomorrow. If you didn't get enough content out today, make sure you get up enough content tomorrow. All that kind of stuff. But yeah, no. So if you know, and maybe you don't want a chocolate cake. Okay, maybe you're like, God, Hope's chocolate cake looks good, but I just want, you know, like a 4x4 personal, you know, confetti cake. That's fine, but you're still going to have to use some of the same basic ingredients, right? You're still going to have to be putting out some content and reaching out to people and following up with people. You're just not going to have to do it at the same. Okay, stop. I accidentally beeped the table. But you're still, but you'll have to cook it for way less, right? And maybe at a less hot temperature. But what you absolutely cannot do is look at somebody else's cake and then they hand you the recipe and then you don't follow it exactly. And then be like, why is my cake not? Because you didn't follow the recipe. And for those of you who are really struggling in like the belief department, especially maybe like my brand new people who really have yet to see like the results of your actions, or maybe you're just somebody who's been in for a really long time and you have never been consistent enough to truly see the results of your actions. When I tell you that the recipe works, the recipe works. Okay. It's the same recipe that I got from Jade. It's the same recipe that you would get if you went to pretty much any, like I said, any successful person in our business right now. And by successful, I mean like anybody who's making that full-time income, anybody who's like a diamond and above, they're gonna tell you the same exact thing. That's how I know the recipe works. They're gonna tell you to post your content. They're going to tell you to get up your host to post. They're going to tell you to reach out to people. They're going to tell you to follow up. They're going to tell you to grow your audience. They're going to tell you to believe in yourself. You're not going to find a diamond and above, a triple and above, an ambassador diamond in this company who's going to tell you to do something different. Other people are even going to tell you to do more. Like I have so many friends who train their teams to do like more, like way more. For me, my goal is to lay the foundation for you guys so that you understand what you should be doing every single day so that you can then craft your daily tasks and your daily goals to match you in your life, okay? But the truth of the matter is, you know, there's the only way to make it happen faster is to turn up the heat, turn up your belief, and cook it for, you know, and then you don't have to cook it for as long, right? So I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this spoke to some of you today. I hope this was the inspiration that you needed. I hope